Also, I love the snake cover. I've been wanting a tattoo. I don't like snakes, but should I get this tattooed on me? Probably. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I just got a microphone. I don't know, all my favorite creators have microphones, and it always just sounds better. I feel so official with this thing. I did kind of feel like a fool at the beginning, but I kind of felt like a fool when I started making YouTube videos in general. So I was like, why does it matter? And I got a microphone, and I'm honestly loving it. I feel so official now. Would like to say, starting off, that most of these books are romance books and are a little bit of smutty romance. So I do think that almost every single book that I have on this list is 18 plus. So if you're not 18 plus, please don't watch it and don't read these books, because I do not want somebody's parents getting mad at me. Thank you. Okay, so for today's video, I have around 20-ish books. Some of the books are in a series, so I only wrote down 20, but I know like multiple books in a series, so it's definitely going to be more than 20 books. But I just wanted to share books that I think that you should read this fall, or that are great for fall reading. I will say that not a lot of these are Halloween themed, darker themed, or I can't say that. Some of them do have some darker themes, but they're definitely not Halloween themed. I think that my next video after this is going to be books that I recommend to read during the spooky season more so than fall in general, because I think fall, for me personally, spans from August 1st to November 30th. So that's just kind of how I am. The second that December 1st hits, I go hard with the Christmas themed books. But I do think that my next video is going to be more spooky themed. I've been really into monster romance books. I don't know when that happened, but I just noticed that's something that I'm insanely drawn to right now, especially like the more spookier it is or darker themed, the more I'm loving it, especially if there's a monster, an alien, vampire, werewolf, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm rewatching Gravity Falls to get back into the fall season, and I think that's just made me be like, wow, all these spooky things. And with my love for romance books, so I've been super into that. So I think that my next video will cover a lot of those, a lot more Halloween themed books. So a bunch of these don't have those themes. They're just books that I think are good to read in the fall time. Start us off strong. I do have the series that I'm actually currently reading. I started this series a few years ago. Then I got really into romance, and this book isn't so much romance as much as it is cute and cozy and fall themed. There is some like romance subplots on it, but the book is actually Shady Hollow by, I believe you pronounce it, Janu Black. Again, I'm not sure if that's right. That's how the girl at my local bookstore pronounced it, but take that with a grain of salt. I don't have that here with me, but I have the third book in the series, which is the one I'm currently on. I lent my copy of Shady Hollow to a friend, and I honestly think that she's going to love it. I recommend it to everybody. It's just a great book to start out with if you want to know something. It follows these creatures, little animal farm land creatures, like a fox, a moose, I believe, God, I can't remember what the main one. Oh, a bear. He's a bear. Yes, he's a bear. And I can't believe I'm forgetting all the characters. Otters. They're all so cute, and they all live in this little town. Imagine Zootopia like, but I will say that it is a murder mystery book. They definitely push this as young adult. I think that the murders are more mature young adult. Like, I think that I definitely could have handled this high school up, but younger, I know that this is a spoiler. So if you don't want to know any spoilers, like, skip through this. Second book, the moose gets killed. It is another murder mystery. I believe they're all murder mysteries. I'm not sure. This one says change is coming. Yes, this one, she believes her beloved husband Edward is dead, and that the rat claiming to be him is actually a fraud. Okay, I'm so excited. I read on my lunch breaks and I'm about to read this, but that's not the point. I think this series is a little bit for mature adults, because in the Cold Clay, which is the second book, the moose's head gets like Bastion, and it says that, like, her school was Bastion, and I was just like, dang, that's a little bit darker than I thought this book was going to take it. One of the characters has some really questionable choices. It's definitely more adult themes with a cozy background to it, so keep that in mind. Overall, I think that each book that I've read in this series is a 5-star for me. I'm only on the third book, but I can already tell it's gonna be a 5-star. I know that's biased, but and also I'm sorry, but the covers of these books are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, literally beautiful. Next up is another physical book that I have. I actually don't own this book. I got it from the library, and this is the first book that I checked out from the library, and I was really excited to read a physical book and get back into it. I actually spoke about it on my last video, this one, and it's We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clywer. Again, I butcher names. I'm sorry. I know how annoying that is considering my name is Marky, but I'm really bad at names. Follows this girl. Her name is, I can't remember the main character's name. There's two names, and I almost said the wrong one, but I don't want to do that. So I can't remember the name. But her and her girlfriend buy this old Victorian-like house in the middle of nowhere. And then this family shows up, and the dad is like, hey, I grew up here. I used to live here. And basically, I know what you're thinking. Oh, what a dummy. I would never invite them inside. I thought that too. But the way that they weaseled their way inside of her house was so convincing. When I tell you, I would have immediately folded. It was definitely convincing. And the way that they ended up staying and ended up tangled there, it's definitely a people pleaser book. I'm a people pleaser, and I would want to make these people happy even if I don't know him. She also suffers from that. Her girlfriend, not as much, which definitely adds to some of the tension. But I will say, I thought that too, and they ended up in the house, and I didn't think it was that strange that she let them in. But the stuff that follows is absolutely crazy. I went into this book blind. I think that you should go into this book blind, but there was something that stuck with me that I absolutely agree with. It says that this book is a crossover between the movies Parasite and Get Out together in a book, and I could not agree more. If you like either of those movies, especially if you like both of them like I do, you've got to give this book a chance. It was so good. So good. And it's actually a horror book, which is not something that I read a lot of, and this book had me cooked. When I tell you, I was sitting in the bedroom and it was at night, all the lights were turned off. I actually had to close the book and put it away to read it in the office the next day on my lunch break because I needed people around me. I was so scared. Starting off strong with books that I have. Most of the books on this series I don't have, or on this list I don't have, but for some weird reason, I guess we just started off with all the books that I had. I saw them and I was like, oh my god, that's perfect for the fall. Next up is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is also a book that I feel like I've talked about in my last few videos. It follows this girl. Her name is Galaxy Stern, but she goes by Alex, and she gets brought to Yale and is a part of the secret society. And honestly, it's so in depth, I don't even know how to describe it. But there's this guy named Daniel Arlington. They call him Darlington. I don't know why, but I think that is so hot. Raised in Los Angeles hinterlands by a hippie mom, Alex dropped out of school early and into a world of shady drug dealer boyfriends, dead end jobs, and much, much worse. In fact, by age 20, she is the sole survivor of a horrific, unsolved murder homicide. Some might say she's thrown her life away, but at her hospital bedside, Alex is offered a second chance to attend one of the most prestigious universities on a full ride. What's the catch, and why her? Still searching for answer, Alex arrives in New Haven, tasked with her mysterious benefactors monitoring the activities of Yale's secret societies. The 8 windowless tombs are the well-known haunts of the rich and powerful, from high-ranking politicals to Wall Street biggest players. But the occult activities are more sinister and more extraordinary than any paranoid imagination might conceive. They tamper with forbidden magic, they raise the dead, and sometimes they prey on the living. I'm not going to ruin it, but I think that there is definitely going to be. The first one is Ninth House. The second one is Hellbent. I think that you should read them right after each other. It is a little bit of a commitment. You can see it's a little bit bigger, than most novels, or I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd say it's average side, but it is definitely a commitment because this is a book that you really have to grip into. You have to pay full attention to. You can't skip in everything. I did both of these on audiobook. I don't even own Hellbent. I bought this and I actually listened to the audiobook at work while I was working in the background. Something about it is just so fall centered. It does definitely mention Halloween, have some Halloween themes, but it's definitely a darker academia book. It's just so eerie and it drags you in from the very beginning. And there's definitely a lot more going on than what it says on the back, but I'm not going to give you any spoilers, so you have to read it, and I just know you're going to love it. Next up, I have the Fae King series of Eden by Jamie Applegate Hunter. Sorry, that is a mouthful. I'm not going to lie. So the Fae King series, I can't remember all the names. I think the first one is Obsessively Yours, the second one is Viciously Yours, and the third one is not come out yet. This series follows these boys that are, or I guess young men, that are so down bad for their women's. But actually, it's more like a fated mates books. And when you pick these up, you may think that it's fantasy. It is not. It is a romance book with a fantasy subplot. There is very little world building. Thank God, because that's what gets me every time is the world building. But it's definitely more romance themed. First book follows this couple. They're writing letters back and forth, and he knows that she is his mate. But she also knows that, but she's like, why can't you come get me? He can't leave, I believe, until they're like 25. They can't leave the town. And she's like, oh, whatever, he's never coming to meet me. But then he does come, and they can feel each other through this mate bond. It's a more short novel, but it is so good. The second one follows this guy who falls in love with this girl. Her name is Violet. I love that. But she ends up, wait, is it Violet or Vivian? They're twins. I can't remember. I think that she's Violet. Yes, she's Violet, because he gets Violet's tattooed all over him because he's obsessed with her. But when he turns 13 and he finally gets his name of his mate whispered in his brain, it is her twin sister, Vivian. And Vivian is so mean to Violet, but he is set and determined to change the ways of fate, and it is so good. He is so down bad for her. They all are. And then the next one is about these two people. I cannot remember either of their names, but they're already mentioned. I believe the male main character is named Dean. They're already mentioned in the previous books. Kind of all their love stories are. But he thinks that his mate has died and he's distraught, and then he enters a political marriage. And then one day, while they're still engaged in the political marriage before they get married, he hears her laughing from across the room and knows that his mate is alive. And now he has to tell his fiance. I don't know. I think there's going to be so much other woman drama. And for some weird reason, the other woman drama in this series is so good. Usually, it's like unnecessary and you don't like it. No, it makes these stories. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Something about the fantasy world of this, even though it's more romance than fantasy, gives off fall vibes. And I love that. Next. Okay, obviously, as you can see in the video, this is where I think my microphone is still working, but it is not. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the next videos, but it is going to be a voiceover, so it's going to be a little bit different than the first half, but I do think these books are so good that I hated to cut them and finish the video short. Okay, next up we have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This book is definitely a rom-com type vibe. It follows Farley, which is an inspiring comedian, and Myers, which is a funny, retired comedian single dad, and they're challenging together. Farley knows from the minute that she meets Myers that she is in love with him, but Myers is definitely more secluded, like most single dads are in single dad romances, and he does everything that he can as Farley's agent to give her the career that she wants. But suddenly they find themselves in a situation where they're having to fake date, and slowly you start to see a really good slow burn romance come out of this book. I do think that when I was reading it, I did find some of the comedy scenes really cheesy, but overall I thought it was a really, really cute book. and it made the comedy along with the romance really good. They go apple picking in a scene, and overall, just the settings that they find themselves are very fall coded. And if you're wanting something very lighthearted and easy to read, this is definitely the book for you. No matter how much I hate doing the voiceovers like this, we're just going to keep going. Next up, we have Out on a Limb by Hannah Bowman Young. I feel like most people have already heard of this book, but it is one of the most beautiful covers, and the cover itself just gives fall vibes, even though they're on the beach. I actually fought so hard to get this book because it actually went out of print in this indie edition, which is so pretty, and it took me forever to find, but it is one of my most prized possessions on my bookshelf just because of how beautiful it is. This book overall is a surprise pregnancy trope, and it's between Winifred, but she goes by Win, and Bo, and they actually meet on Halloween night. They have a one night stand together, and then, of course, from there, you can probably assume what happens is that she finds out that she's pregnant, and of course, they decide to just be friends and try to raise this baby together. But as time goes on, they just discover that they have this great love for each other, and they also both have some physical challenges that they face that it talks to you about in the book. And actually, one of the physical challenges is based off of the author herself, and I just think that's a really unique part of this story that I've never heard much in a book before this, and it's just something that I found that I really liked in this book, on top of all the other aspects that made all of her books, Hannah Bowman Young's, really good. Okay, I had a lot of books planned, but since I don't all have those physically and you can't hear me talking about each and every one of them, we're just going to finish with this one, which is also a really good place to end. It's If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This book is definitely the epitome of dark academia, and so everybody knows that's the best time to read it is just fall. I've heard that this book is similar to Babel or The Dark History by Hannah Tart. I have never read either one of those, but I did read this one, and I'm not going to lie to you. If you do not like Shakespeare like I do, this one is kind of hard to get through until the ending. The ending wraps it up together without giving any spoilers, and it is amazing. I was gasping at the last two chapters of this book. It was so good. So if you don't like Shakespeare, you just have to get through this. Like, the vibes, just perfect for fall. I will say it follows this group of students that are going to this drama school and redoing Shakespeare plays. And then at the end of their, I believe it actually, now that I say it, is at the beginning of their senior year. So this is their last year together. So they're going to do their biggest play yet. And then one of them ends up dead. And it's just the challenges that they all face. And they each embody a character from Shakespeare's plays, and especially with their emotions. And it kind of is cool to see how they play out in this modern retelling of it. And overall, I will say that when I first read this, I was like, oh, it's not good. But this is a book that the more and more you think about it, the more and more you love it. I go back to this book all the time and recommend it to people and just tell them, if you can get past the fact that it's slow and really think about this book, it is probably going to be one of the best books you've ever read. Okay, and of course, this is the last part of the video where I beg you to subscribe and come back to my next video to see if we can figure out this microphone that I said that I felt so official using at the beginning. And as always, thanks for watching.